He blew up a British factory for Hitler, or so the Nazis thought. The explosion was fake, and Eddie Chapman had just pulled off one of the greatest deceptions of World War II. He wasn't a soldier or a patriot. He was a thief, a safecracker who lived on charm and lies. Captured on the island of Jersey, he offered to spy for the Germans in exchange for his freedom. They trained him, trusted him, and sent him to destroy a British aircraft plant. But the moment he landed back in England, he switched sides. With MI5, Chapman staged the fake blast so convincing that Hitler's army awarded him the Iron Cross for a crime he never committed. Born into poverty in County Durham, England, he never had patience for rules or routine. He discovered early that charm could open more doors than honesty ever would. Before the war, Eddie Chapman was already living on the edge. By his 20s, he was a professional safecracker, part of London's notorious Jelly Gang. Chapman was everything you'd expect from a career criminal and nothing you'd expect from a spy. He dressed sharp, drank hard, and talked his way out of almost anything. Women loved him, police hated him, and danger followed him everywhere. To Eddie, life was a game of risk, and he was addicted to the thrill of getting away with it. But every gambler runs out of luck. By 1939, the law finally caught up to him. Chapman was sentenced to prison on the island of Jersey, a quiet outpost of Britain where he couldn't charm or cheat his way out. He was restless, caged, and forgotten, until the world outside his cell began to burn. When the Germans invaded the Channel Islands in 1940, the guards fled and the Union Jack came down. For most prisoners, it was a nightmare. For Eddie Chapman, it was an opportunity. When German troops marched into Jersey, they found a forgotten jail full of petty criminals, and among them, Eddie Chapman. Most prisoners kept their heads down, terrified of the new regime. Chapman did the opposite. He watched the Germans very closely, their uniforms, their routines, their confidence. And then he made a decision that would change his life. If he couldn't escape the prison, he'd escape through the enemy. He asked to speak with the German officers in charge and made them a bold offer: his services as a spy. He promised them access to Britain, expertise in explosives, and the kind of cunning only a career criminal could provide. The Germans were intrigued. Here was a British prisoner volunteering to work for the Reich, daring, intelligent, and fearless. They transferred him to occupied France for training under Germany's military intelligence service. Chapman learned the crafts of espionage, parachuting, sabotage, secret codes, and advanced explosives. His German handlers were convinced they had found a loyal asset. They gave him money, a fake identity, and a code name, Fritzchen. But Chapman wasn't loyal to Germany or to anyone. He was playing a long con, the biggest of his life. And as the Nazis prepared to send him into England on a secret mission, Eddie Chapman was already planning his next deception. By late 1942, his mission was critical. On a cold December night, a plane crossed the channel under blackout. Chapman jumped, parachuting into the English countryside, carrying a radio, fake papers, and enough explosives to destroy a factory. But the moment he hit the ground, he didn't hide or run. He walked straight to the nearest police station and turned himself in. "I'm a German spy," he said, "but I'd rather work for you." At first, British intelligence didn't believe him. But when they checked his story, it matched perfectly with what MI5 knew about German operations. They realized what had fallen into their hands: a fully trained Nazi agent offering to become a double. They accepted, giving him a new name, Agent Zigzag, because of the way he changed direction at every turn. From that moment on, Eddie Chapman wasn't working against the Nazis. He was preparing to fool them on a scale that no one had ever dared before. In early 1943, MI5 gave Chapman his first real test, to make his German masters believe he had destroyed the de Havilland aircraft factory in Hatfield. The operation was called Zigzag. Chapman worked with British engineers and intelligence officers to stage the entire sabotage. They scattered twisted metal, charred debris, and fake scorch marks across the site. Photographs were taken to sell the illusion, and Chapman memorized every detail to report back to the Germans. When the Nazis received his coded message describing the explosion, they celebrated. Their agent had crippled one of Britain's most important factories, or so they thought. Berlin was so impressed that they awarded him the Iron Cross, a medal usually reserved for acts of bravery against the enemy. Eddie Chapman became the only British citizen ever to receive it, for an explosion that never happened. Eddie Chapman had fooled the most feared intelligence network in the world and walked away wearing one of Hitler's medals. But even victory couldn't tame him. MI5 soon realized that Chapman was a double agent they couldn't control. He drank during missions, flirted recklessly, and vanished without orders. He lived like a celebrity in wartime, charming, unpredictable, and utterly unreliable. His handlers admired his nerve, but feared his nature. Chapman didn't serve a country. He served his own thrill. When the war ended, he was pardoned for his crimes and released back into the world. Too famous to hide, too chaotic to employ. He gambled, schemed, and drifted through life the same way he always had, dangerously free.